Just recently, we were all reminded of Mitchell Starc's brilliance with his historic 10-wicket haul in the Ashes opener in Perth. That performance, where he also became the first left-arm pacer to cross 100 Ashes wickets, has reignited the debate. Where do you think Starc would be ranked among best Ashes bowlers of all time if bowling average is taken as a parameter? Dive in with us into this statistical analysis to find out the answer. Welcome back to the Cricket Analyst. We've all seen Shane Warne's ball of the century. We know Glenn McGrath is the Metronome. But what if I told you the greatest Ashes bowler in history has a career average that is nearly 4 runs? Better than them? Today, we are diving into the holy grail of bowling statistics, the bowling average. We've compiled the full top 25, leading to the statistical freak at number 1, whose record will never be broken. I went digging into the databanks, set the filter for a minimum of 50 Ashes wickets, and sorted the list by the lowest average. We are going to count down the entire top 25, from the modern greats to the Victorian legends. Starting us off at number 25 is the man who was the first in history to reach the 300-wicket landmark, fiery Fred Trueman, averaging 25.3. The Yorkshire legend bowled with raw pace and an even rawer personality, his classical side on action delivering thunderbolts that genuinely frightened batsmen in an era before helmets. Trueman once famously quipped he couldn't remember all his wickets because he'd taken so many of them. Just ahead of him at 24 is the 1890s express paceman Tom Richardson at 25.22. Richardson was cricket's first true workhorse, regularly bowling 40-over spells on rock-hard pitches. His stamina was legendary. In one test, he bowled 42.3 overs in a single innings, taking 6 wickets, while his teammates wilted in the Australian heat. At number 23, we have the great Australian all-rounder Monty Noble, averaging 24.86. Noble was the thinking cricketer's bowler, a medium pacer who used guile, variation, and an astute cricket brain to dismiss batsmen. He captained Australia with distinction and was one of the game's first true student tacticians. At 22, the man who bowled England to a miracle victory at Headingley in 1981, Bob Willis, sits at 24.37. Willis's long, ungainly run-up exploded into genuine pace, and his 8 for 43 in that famous 81 match remains one of the most ferocious and passionate bowling performances ever witnessed. He charged in like a man possessed, hair flying, all elbows and aggression. And rounding out this first group at number 21 is the invincible left-armer Bill Johnston, averaging 24.24. Part of Bradman's unbeaten 1948 touring side, Johnston was the ultimate team man, a new ball bowler who could also tie down an end for hours. His left-arm pace bamboozled England throughout that legendary tour. Moving into the top 20, we find the only active player on this list, the Australian captain with the golden touch, Pat Cummins. In the span shown, he averages 24.1. Cummins represents the modern complete bowler. Express pace combined with metronomic accuracy, a vicious bouncer, and the temperament of a champion. He's led Australia to retain the Ashes, and his ability to break partnerships at crucial moments has become his trademark. At number 19 is the man with the longest career in history, Wilfred Rhodes, who played into his 50s, averaging exactly 24. Rhodes began his Test career as a number 11 batsman and ended it opening for England, the ultimate cricketing transformation. His slow left-arm spin was built on flight, loop, and patience, and he holds the record for most first-class wickets ever taken with over 4,000 to his name. At number 18, we have the slingshot speedster often cited as the fastest of all time, Jeff Thomson, averaging 23.89. Tomo bowled with a catapult action that generated terrifying pace and brutal bounce. His partnership with Dennis Lillee in the mid-1970s remains the most feared pace duo in Ashes history, and batsmen still speak in hushed tones about facing his thunderbolts. At 17, it is the Claw, Alan Davidson, at 23.76. Davidson was the prototype of the great left-arm fast bowler. He swung the ball prodigiously, hit the seam consistently, and possessed a lethal Yorker. He was also a genuine all-rounder, capable of batting in the top order and taking match-winning wickets with either the new or old ball. And at number 16, The man who delivered the ball of the century, Shane Warne, with 195 wickets at an average of 23.25. Warne didn't just take wickets, he reimagined what leg spin could be. His first ball to Mike Gatting at Old Trafford in 1993 announced his genius to the world, a delivery that drifted, dipped, and spun viciously to clip the top of off stump. For over a decade, he tormented England with his variations, his psychology, and his sheer competitive fire. Cracking the top 15, we have the man with the perfect action, Ray Lindwall, at 22.44. Lindwall's approach combined athleticism and artistry, a smooth, rhythmic run-up flowing into a classical high action. He was genuinely quick, but also possessed a late outswinger that brought him countless edges. Alongside Keith Miller, he formed one half of Australia's post-war pace battery. Just ahead of him at number 14 is the charismatic fighter pilot who famously said, "Pressure is a Messerschmitt up your arse," Keith Miller, at 22.4. Miller bowled with the fearlessness of a man who'd stared down death in World War II. He could bowl express pace when the mood took him, swing it both ways, and his nonchalant brilliance made him one of cricket's most romantic figures. At number 13 is the complete fast bowler, Dennis Lillee, averaging 22.32. Lillee was pace, aggression, and theatre rolled into one handlebar mustached package. After a career-threatening back injury, he reinvented himself with shorter run-up but lost none of his menace. His battles with English batsmen throughout the 1970s and early 80s defined an era of fast bowling dominance. At number 12, we find the man often called the Bradman of bowlers, the mysterious genius Sydney Barnes, who averaged 21.58 against Australia. Barnes was cricket's greatest enigma, a medium-fast bowler who could spin the ball like a finger spinner and swing it like a seamer. He played most of his cricket in the leagues rather than county cricket, yet dominated international cricket whenever he appeared. His methods remain debated to this day. And just missing the top 10 is the king of swing, who tormented English openers for a decade, Terry Alderman, at number 11, with an average of 21.17. Alderman was the master of late outswing, his deliveries curving away from right-handers and finding the edge with metronomic regularity. In 2 Ashes series alone, 1981 and 1989, he took 83 wickets, destroying England's top order with clinical precision. Now we enter the top 10, the elite of the elite. At number 10, it is the Metronome, Glenn McGrath. 157 wickets at 20.92. McGrath's turned consistency into an art form. His relentless line and length in the corridor of uncertainty, combined with that steep bounce from his 6'5" frame, made him nearly unplayable on seaming wickets. He never gave batsmen a moment's peace, probing away with the patience of a man who knew wickets would eventually come. At number 9 is Hugh Trumbull, the only man to take 2 Ashes hat-tricks, averaging 20.88. Trumbull was a giant off-spinner, literally at 6'4", whose height gave him steep bounce and natural variation. He could tie down an end for hours or strike in quick bursts, and his longevity across 31 tests against England speaks to his consistency and skill. At number 8, the man who bowled until his knees were dust, Ryan Rhino Harris, who averaged a stunning 20.63. Harris was the unluckiest great bowler. Chronic knee problems cut short what should have been a decade-long career at the top. But in his brief window, he was devastating. Hostile pace, reverse swing, and an indomitable will to win made him one of Australia's most effective Ashes weapons. At number 7 is the diminutive spin wizard Johnny Briggs, averaging 20.55. At just 5'5", Briggs was a bundle of energy who bowled left-arm spin with extraordinary control and variation. He was also a capable lower-order batsman and brilliant fielder. His performances in the 1880s and 90s helped to establish spin bowling as a potent Ashes weapon. And at number 6, the man who started it all, the demon, Fred Spofforth. His performance in 1882 literally created the Ashes legend, and he averages 19.98. Spofforth's 7 for 46 inches, the second innings at the Oval in 1882, defending just 85 runs, gave birth to the Ashes urn. He bowled with pace, hostility, and psychological warfare, intimidating batsmen with his piercing stare and aggressive appeal. He was cricket's first true fast-bowling superstar. Now for the top 5. These are the outliers. At number 5, Jim Laker, the man who holds the untouchable record of 19 wickets in a single match. He averages 18.27. At Old Trafford in 1956, Laker produced figures of 9 for 37 and 10 for 53 on a dusty, turning pitch, a performance so dominant that his spin partner, Tony Locke, took just 1 wicket in the entire match. Laker's offspin was built on accuracy, subtle variations in pace and flight, and an uncanny ability to exploit conditions. At number 4, the biggest modern anomaly, Rodney Hogg. He took a record-breaking 41 wickets in his debut series, managing an incredible average of 17 flat. Hogg burst onto the scene in 1978-1979 like a whirlwind, his skidding pace and aggressive attitude catching England completely off guard. Though his later Ashes performances couldn't match that extraordinary debut series, those 41 wickets remain a record for any bowler in their first Ashes campaign. At number 3, England's master of the sticky dog wicket, Bobby Peel. With an average of 16.98, Peel was the Yorkshire left-arm spinner who terrorised Australian batsmen on rain-affected pitches in the 1890s. When the wicket was drying under hot sun, turning it into a minefield, Peel was virtually unplayable. His control and ability to extract sharp turn made him one of cricket's first specialist spin bowling match winners. At number 2, the terror, Charlie Turner, who took his wickets at just 16.53. Turner earned his nickname through sheer pace and aggression in an era when fast bowling was rare. He formed a devastating partnership with J.J. Ferris in the late 1880s, and his 17 wickets in the Lord's Test of 1888 set a record that stood for decades. His career was brief but brilliantly effective. And finally, the number 1 spot, the record that will never be broken, England's George Lohmann. In 15 matches, he took 77 wickets at the mind-boggling average of 13.01. He is nearly 3.5 runs better than anyone else in history. Lohmann was the complete medium-pace bowler. He could swing the ball, cut it off the seam, vary his pace cunningly, and possessed an almost supernatural ability to take wickets in clusters. He was genuinely quick by the standards of his era, and on the uncovered pitches of the 1880s and 90s, he was utterly unstoppable. Illness forced his early retirement, but his statistical record remains untouchable. From Trueman's 300th wicket to Lohmann's 13 average, that's your top 25. Which of these legends would you want in your team? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to the Cricket Analyst for more deep dives.